we're talking about the wildest forms at Cool, the second coming, and among school children, and Carl McCarter's not here, so I'll be taking his part.
So the Second Coming was written in 1919 within the aftermath of the First World War. The end of such chaotic events had a significant impact on Yeats' vision of a world in destruction and instability. The heavy focus on imagery within the poem illustrates a sustained intensity by dividing both stanzas to represent Yeats' view of the present world and the future world. Within the poem, readers are initially introduced to the turning and turning of a widening gyre, the repetition which evokes Yeats' philosophical vision that the world operates with cycles of 2,000 years. And it was at Yeats' time that he believed society was in a motion of history towards chaos. Yeats further represents the loss of radicalism and disruption through the blood-dimmed tide loose, with the ceremony of innocence drowned, symbolizing the chaotic upheaval of a new era where war is imminent and there is a disruption of stability within the government. Yeats' apocalyptic vision of the future is further represented within "Surely a revelation is at hand, surely a second coming is at hand," showcasing a juxtaposition of a biblical metaphor, according to Alan Edwards, as it illustrates the poem's engagement with Christian doctrines. The Second Coming is profoundly intertextual with the occurrences of the Bible, in particular the book of Revelations. The presence of a spiritus mundi accentuates the corruption of a world order as a hybrid antichrist, that is, a body of a lion and a head of a man, whereby the disruption of world harmony had been partially due to the actions of mankind. In regards to the poem's biblical terms, the Second Coming signifies the birth of an enigma that possibly slashes towards Bethlehem to be born, rhetorically questioning the replacement of Jesus Christ by the manifestation of a dark epoch and the beginning of an apocalypse.
Wild Swans Are Cool is a lyric poem in which Yeats uses a rhythm which is both in and out of control. This can be identified as a means of revealing the transitional state in which the poet himself, Yeats, and his work lie. The symbol of the swans within the poem are used by Yeats to contrast the qualities of the swans as a species in comparison to him as an individual, suggesting that the beauty within the swans remain forever while he is nearing the end of his life, where his charm seems to fade away. This idea of nearing the end of his life is furthered as he repeats the word autumn in both the first and second stanzas. The trees are in their autumn beauty, and the 19th autumn has come upon me. These two phrases describe his surroundings, but more importantly are a reflection upon himself, suggesting that just as the trees and leaves begin to die off in their autumn as they approach winter, the colder months of winter, Yeats himself is fading away as he approaches the end of his life. Furthermore, the use of assonance of A and O sounds within "and now my heart is sore" furthers this notion. The longer sounding words create a dull and mournful mood, which is representative of time passing and himself getting older. Finally, as mentioned by Richard Bezot, Cool in the title refers to Cool Park, a place Yeats spent considerable time. The speaker draws two contrasts between himself now and between himself when he first walked on this shore. All's changed, he says, since he first came there, and the change is in him, where his heart has grown old. The second contrast is of the swans in himself, where they are energetic, unwearied, and passionate, which are the very traits he finds diminished or lacking in himself.
Yeats, who in his youthful work frequently dealt with incidents of passing and loss, virtually became obsessed with those themes, as he became older and faced his own mortality in real abstract terms. By this point in his career, Yeats was examining the consequences and effects of time's passage, not only on the human body, but also on the human spirit, both for the individual and for the race of the world, whole and variable, basing his meditations on personal experience. The 17th and penultimate stanza, which considers both religious and maternal devotion, concludes with the sad realization that although rather different, the images worshipped by nuns and mothers have at least one important thing in common. they both ultimately break hearts. Yeats associates these demoralizing images with what refers to as presence, entities that passion, piety, affection knows and that all heavenly glory symbolize. Yeats' distraught calls out the potent and cool abstractions presenting his contextual influence. In a contextual sense, Yeats composed this poem in 1927 after visiting the Monastery's St. Otterian School in Waterford, where he saw a variety of poor conditions. It can be recognized that the poor conditions within the school inspired Yeats to reflect on the detrimental events during his life. Thank you.